Hello and welcome back to my Paloma Valley City Skylines Let's Play series. In the last episode, the entire city was in complete chaos and I spent most of it just trying to fix all of the issues. So today I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into building and expanding and hopefully adding in some tram networks and building on this park in the middle of this district here. I had a good name suggestion for the little strip mall from Point Me at the Sky 124. They suggested calling it Windmere Place. So I think the first thing that I'm going to do today is I'm going to name the strip mall after that. It's a really nice name for that district. I'm terrible at coming up with names, but I feel like that fits a commercial vibe quite well. And I'm feeling sorry for myself today, so excuse my mood. I realised before coming into this that I accidentally wrote over my huge Parks and Rec city save and it's gone. So I am not very happy about that, but we'll move on. This one will end up being better than that anyway. Okay, so they're having a lot of garbage issues and I reckon it's because at the very end of the last episode, I can't remember if I've actually filmed that bit or not, but I had to turn the landfill back on because it was finished emptying, but it looks like they're still not being picked up properly. So I did actually download some new assets from the workshop, including this district recycling hub. It's tiny and it processes over 1 million bits of garbage a week. I don't know what the unit is there. 1 million bits of garbage. I've seen quite a few other people doing Let's Plays using this. So I think what I might do, because I feel like this is quite a common thing to have in a commercial district, is I might just put a little one on the edge here, and this should pick up quite a lot. It's only got 3 trucks, but they should be able to pick up and process quite a lot of garbage. So that should hopefully deal with some of the issues further down this end of the map where these garbage trucks might not quite be reaching this lot. So I'm going to do some detailing on here on this end of this commercial district. I finally downloaded the surface painter tool. So I'm going to fill in this little triangle here because it's been really annoying me. I wonder if I can get it right up to there. That's kind of annoying that it does that with the pavement. I've kind of tested it out a couple of times in a different save game and I'm not really sure how it works still because it seems to be just painting straight over the pavement. But that will do for now. It's got rid of that annoying little triangle, so I can deal with it clipping into the sidewalk for now. All 3 garbage trucks are in use at the moment, so that's good. Yeah, it looks like the only people complaining are right down the end of this peninsula, and obviously trucks are going to take a little while longer to get there, but I reckon this is going there. Yeah, this is going to sweep round and pick all of their garbage up, so that's great. I did build up quite a bit of money while I was trying to sort stuff out at the end of the last episode, so I think I'm going to add this track and field park into here. I was thinking when I was editing the video that I don't quite like it all being on just one straight road. I don't know if I want to do like a little square at the end maybe like a little T. I'm going to have a play around with some layouts for this area and I'll see what I like best. Okay, so I've changed the layout of this a little bit. I've added a road up here for the track and field, and I've moved the pathways around a little bit. So I've also added a very small public library that I got from the workshop earlier today. It takes up very, very little room and it's much cheaper, and the radius of it is still amazing. So it's not quite going to cover the schools in the other district, but once I've got a little bit more funds, I might go through and add one over here as well, next to the old secondary school. So I'm gonna put this on play and think about what to do with the rest of this So I'm kind of running down a little bit on funds, so I can't really do much more. But I want to kind of make this into a whole complex of education and healthcare building. So like I mentioned in the last episode, I might put the sports hall and gymnasium down here. So I removed this commercial building here because I didn't think it really fit in with everything else. Once we've changed the name of this district, I'll go through and rename all of the services to match the district name. So unfortunately this is just going to be called high school for now. But I think this is a pretty good start for a secondary school area. They've got a lot more than I had at my secondary school for sure. If the bus demand increases around this area, so if people start travelling in from different districts to come to this high school, I might make the bus loop through here instead of going on this road, because it does kind of clog this up a little bit when it stops. But it seems to be doing okay for the moment, so let's go and focus on something else. Another thing I want to do today is I want to improve this bus depot area. It does look very, very sad. It's not very creative at all, but I tried some things out on one of my other saves to kind of make it into a bit more of a destination to go rather than just a bus depot with a car park. So unfortunately this road isn't completely straight, but I might be able to turn on snapping and just make that into a straight road so that I have more right angles to deal with. A great park that I used in one of my personal games the other day was this one here. Well, it doesn't quite fit into this space, which is annoying. Might be able to turn on Anarchy and just make it fit. Because it's got this kind of star-shaped plaza, you can go in it from all angles. I just think it looks neat. So I'm going to move over a tiny bit so it's not too far on the pavement on one side. And I'm probably going to remove this car park as well and turn it into something nicer. Maybe have like a small car park down the middle or two, and then some more parks on this end as well. So I've added a little bit of vegetation to the little gap behind the car parks, but I think this looks much nicer than having that great big car park with nothing else around it. Still plenty of places to park, and it's got a little bit of entertainment as well. So another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the parking from all of these streets. So you can hold shift and actually apply it to the whole segment of road, which saves a huge amount of time. And I thought I already went through and did these, but maybe it turned off when I upgraded them. But that should stop cars from being able to park down the sides of these main roads. It will make it look less cluttered. I want to focus more on detailing now that we've got a bit more of a stable budget. It's really difficult to try and do that in the very early stages of the game when you're trying to put everything in that's essential but also keep it looking nice. So in this space here, I want to make this into a bit more of a purposeful school area. In one of my personal games, I extended the eco school out with some of the hotels and retreats parks that I've only just downloaded. So I'm going to see if I can do the same with this base game school, and I am just going to add another little road down here, and I'm basically going to set it back from the main road, because I feel like that would be normal for a school anyway, to be set back from the main road. So I'm just going to pop it on pause for a second and move this back so I can get the road in. Don't want the same routing problems as before though, so I'm going to actually move it using the tool. So if that goes in down this end of here, and then I just move it on slightly more, so it's kind of lining up with the end here, and then I can put some of the parks on this side. They don't take up too much space, and you can change the look of them. So I can add in one of these tiny playgrounds, and I can change the variation if I want to look like different things. So I think for this I'm going to stick with the basketball court, but then I'm going to put another one next to it, and that is going to be a little football goal. So I really don't like the way that this gap is looking in the middle here, so I'm going to move these across a little bit so that it joins up automatically, and we might be able to fit something else on the end here as well if we want to. So I'm going to add in a car park on either side like this. So these car parks fit in quite nicely in these little gaps, and it bridges the concrete over so there's no weird edges. I'm not quite sure what to put in this little gap yet. Maybe for now we'll leave this as it is, and I might get a flash of inspiration later on. I do also want to add a fence around it because I do think it's a bit weird that a primary school would just be open like this. And I do have a hedge that might be alright. Let me have a quick look at that and see what that would be like. Not really sure why this bit in the corner isn't actually joined. I'm just going to stick some trees up the back to fill in this space a little bit. If I stick a tree there, you won't be able to notice the gap in the hedge either. That looks more like a school now. I'm going to turn off some of these crosswalks because I can see that this is going to be a big problem with so many of them. So I think I'm going to turn off this crosswalk and leave the rest of these on. I don't think there'll be so much of an issue with that. So let's see how it goes. Why are these all coming down here and then turning around? See where you're going. Very weird. They've got nothing in them, but they're returning to the facility. No one seems to be having garbage problems, so it's obviously not that much of an issue. I'm gonna add in some more parks around the bus station just to give it a little bit more personality and make some more people come over here. I think I'm gonna use the sidewalk restaurant from this pack, or the sidewalk cafe. I want this area here to be a bit of a hub for tourists. So when we have trains and metro systems unlocked, I'm gonna bring the train up through here and have like a big station in this area. So I'm gonna purposefully leave it empty. And this bus station here is gonna be like the kind of meeting point for everyone coming into the city. So if I try and get the entertainment value up early, then hopefully people will already be using it by that point. So let's add a little cafe in there. And also, this has a snappable pathway coming out the back, which is interesting. And I may be able to incorporate that into the station that goes in here at some point and have a pathway going from the station straight through here. Gets pedestrians off the road and gives them a place to go. Another thing that I'm gonna do, just because of the way that it makes the buses go, is I'm gonna move this bus stop around to this side of the square instead, because buses stopping on this road isn't ideal when it's only a 2-lane carriageway. Oh, I didn't even realise that that happened earlier. I don't know why every time I move a road it does that again. It's really frustrating, and I hope it's a bug that they can fix, because it is very annoying when I keep having to go back and redo them constantly. So I need to think about the detailing that's going to be down here. At the moment this is just a bit ugly, but I can almost make it look ugly with purpose. So I'm wondering whether another car park might look right on this side and then extend the concrete out the back here to be in line with the rest of them, just so it kind of merges that space in together. And I'm wondering if I can move this further away from the road and it still work. I think there is probably about where it will go to, just because it gives a little bit of space up the front and I can add some more stuff in on the back as well. I don't like how the back of these commercial buildings look at the moment, and I will be doing something in this gap. I'm not quite sure what yet, but I will be cleaning this up so that when you go down the road it's not going to look totally weird. But eventually this will be a 4-lane road or even bigger, so there's not going to be so much of a gap between here and there anyway. So I'm going to do some detailing on the back here just to make this look a little bit more filled in, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so that's added in a little bit of realism to this area. I'm still getting used to the whole find it ploppable assets system. Things might look a little bit weird to begin with. I know you can do the fences with a line tool, but I just couldn't get it to work properly. So that's that area finished off at the moment. I'll probably come back later and do a bit more detailing, but I feel like it just turns this little recycling depot into a bit more of a purposeful area. So while I was doing that, we actually got to the next milestone, and that's unlocked the nicer roads and larger versions of all of the facilities, like the hospital. We've now got a fire station and a police headquarters. I don't tend to use those until the city's really, really big, but what I am going to do while I've got a bit of money in the bank is I'm going to go through and upgrade all of the roads to my favorite road type, which is this 2-lane road with median trees and bicycle lanes. So I will be back in a moment. So I had a bit of a mild mishap just there, where I went around changing all of the road types without realizing that the zoning was only on one half, and it was bulldozing half of the town as I was doing it. I've gone back round and zoned it all back in again and changed everything on pause. I'm gonna unpause it, and I'm genuinely worried about what's gonna happen. Is everything gonna disappear? I've lost over 1,000 people doing that, so it was bound to demolish some of them anyway. Like I said in a previous episode, when you upgrade curved roads, it can demolish the houses on them because it makes the road slightly wider and adjusts the zoning area. But this was probably more than needed to go. I'm just gonna have a look at my bus routes here because they seem to be disconnected here for some reason. That's much better. Probably gonna lose quite a bit of money from doing this, so it might set me back a little bit, but I'm going to put it on 3x speed for a moment and see what happens. The houses are slowly starting to come back in, but there's barely any need for housing at the moment anyway, so I think I'm going to focus on the other 2 demands and see if that helps out the housing demand in any way. I've decided that I am going to be using the Industries DLC. I was left some super helpful comments by Mr. Chewy79 on one of my previous YouTube videos. I believe it was the first one of this series, and they basically explained how to get the industry areas to work. And I tried them a few times before and I could never get the balance quite right. So I tried it out in a couple of my personal games and it seemed to work really well. So I think I am going to do some farming and forestry at the very least in this game. I wonder whether this little bit down here at the bottom of this mountain would be good. Be kind of out of sight, out of mind. We can do a very easy connection onto the highway, and we could even pull a train connection in through here and possibly have roads going through the mountain between this small area here and the main industry bit. So I might buy these tiles either side. See, this bit's on a really annoying cross. I hate it when it does that. If I want to get to the rest of this, to buy all 3 of those tiles. So I might buy this tile here. And yeah, I can still buy some more. And start an industry district over in this bit. Now it's a little bit annoying because it's a bit hilly. I might have to flatten this all out possibly, or pick a different area to do the industry in. I guess I could flatten this bit out, remove the forestry industry and just put it in here instead. I'm going to have a look at my natural resources tab. There isn't that much farming in this bit. This bit down here has a lot of fertile land. I don't know if I want to bulldoze too many things at once, but I'll at least get the ground ready and flat to put something in eventually. So I think what I'll start doing is I'll put a little road out here and I'll start building the forestry area. Okay, that's the start of the forestry industry area. I'm going to change some of these to look a little bit more like the trees that are naturally occurring on this map anyway. I wish there was more options than just these 3 trees. I know that you can change assets via the bob tool, but I personally haven't ever used the bob tool. I don't know if I want to use it because I can get overwhelmed very easily by adding too much stuff in and having too much stuff to remember. So I'll probably leave it as it is for the moment. I think these trees go all right with the theme type. So obviously it's not going to be making a profit just yet. They need to get workers in, but I'll see if I can balance it and get it up to 5-star and then just have it running as a self-sufficient industry area. Eventually I'll probably bulldoze all of this and turn this into one big forestry bit and have a little bit more control over what goes where rather than just random buildings and then lots of trees and log yards. My population hasn't quite reached the levels it was on before. Obviously it just got up to 4,800 and it's now down at just below 4,000. So hopefully when those houses come back in, that can boost the population again, because otherwise we're just going to be losing money faster and faster. Another thing that I'm going to do while we're waiting for the population to go back up is I'm going to change the trees on the quays just to look a little bit prettier than the ones that are currently there, because I don't really like these little trees. I think they look a bit sparse from a distance. So I don't know whether these trees are maybe too big, but they look nicer from above and from a distance. Okay, our industry area is now in the positive now that I've placed another lot of trees, and that's good to see. So hopefully if we leave it running in the background for a while, it should level up not before long, and then we can add some more stuff into it and slowly remove some of this industry. People down here are sick. Why are they sick? I guess I should probably add in a health centre over this side, because there's one all the way back there and they're not being covered by that. Maybe have this on this bend here. If I end up putting the sports hall and gym in over here, maybe I might move it to this stretch of road so that it feels a bit more purposeful. But at the moment this can reach more houses. Don't have health problems anymore, but now they have crime problems. Where's the nearest police station? Oh, it's really far away. Yeah, they're having a lot of crime problems. That's on me. That's on me for putting the nearest police station so far away. Maybe I'll put that in down here, possibly. Hopefully the police cars will go out and see to those people. Now I'm really running low on money and I need to stop spending for a moment and let it play through and build up some more. I'm going to add in the bus lane over to the industry area and try and get ahead of the potential traffic problems that are going to be caused from this industry area. At the moment it's not too bad, but there is going to be a lot more trucks going in and out, so I want to minimize the amount of residential vehicles going in and out. So I'm thinking if I could put a bus lane maybe across here, because there's going to be a train station below here eventually, so this area is not really going to matter. If I put a bus lane in here, no one else is going to be able to drive down it, and the bus can just do a loop and come back again. So then residents from this district can come up to here on the bus and then get a hop across, possibly, if that will work. Before doing that, I'm going to upgrade all of these roads to industry roads. The cars can move a little bit faster on these roads, so that should help ease the traffic a little bit. So I'm going to add a bus road that goes from here through to here, cuts across this piece of grass, cuts off all of this interchange, and seems to be being used by trucks. That's not right. What I was going to say is pedestrians can use it, but trucks seem to be just using it if they want to. So let's put some restrictions on this road. I should not have to do this. It should just automatically have nothing other than a bus going down here. But obviously not. Suitable for buses only, so why is a truck going down it? Okay. Hopefully we won't get any more vehicles just trying their luck here, because I've just turned off everything other than buses. Pedestrians can use it to get from one district to the other without having to go all the way around here, because if they can walk, they will walk regardless of how far it is. So we want to stop them from going all the way around here. So let's put in another bus line that just goes from here on this side of the road through to here and then back again. Nice and simple, nothing too crazy. And I'm just going to change the color of that one to a nice green to represent the fact that it's going to the forestry. There we go. Now the Sims can get off of a bus here and they can go across the road to the bus stop over here. So to help out with this, I'm going to add in a crosswalk in the middle here. So instead of having to go all the way down here and then crossing and then back again, the Sims can now get off the bus here, cross the road, and then go down to this stop. And then the bus stop over here is on the side of the road where there isn't anything else, so that shouldn't be stopping any vehicles from going in and out. And the buses have started going already. How is that one gone on it? It's only got 2 people, but it's only just been created. Let's change the name of this line to the Blackwell Industry Circle. Let's also change this name while we're here to the Blackwell Forestry area. They're not making masses of profit at the moment, but we've got enough other money coming in that it's not too big of a deal. We're not too far off of reaching the next level though, and then we'll be able to add some more stuff in, so that's good news. Right, no other cars seem to be going down here now, so that's good. They must have just got a little bit confused when that new road went in. Let's see if anyone's cycling yet. Yeah, we've got loads of cyclists using the cycling paths. That's good news. And speaking of cycling, I'm going to have a look at the policies because I haven't looked at them in a while. So I'm going to add in the recycling policy, recycling plastic, as that boosts the efficiency of the recycling centres. And on the city planning page, I'm going to encourage biking. So I think that's all of the policies that I'm going to add in to Queen's Meadow, because Queen's Meadow is quite a generic place. The first one's always quite generic, but Pine Square, I'm going to give them some extra ones. So they've already got smoke detector distribution. I'm going to add in the recycling, the parks and recreation, because that increases the land value around parks and plazas, and there's going to be quite a lot in this district, and I want this to be wealthy. I'm also going to give this district the Old Town status so that I don't have people going through this district when they don't live here, and that should hopefully make it feel more well-to-do when you don't have random people driving through. I'm going to give them the encourage biking policy too, just because I feel like it helps overall with traffic. I could give them a heavy traffic ban, but the trucks might not be able to get to the commercial building, so I'm going to leave that for now. I think that's all of the policies that I want to do for those areas. I'm also going to boost up my healthcare budget as well, because the people were getting a bit sick before, and I'm going to bring down my electricity budget as well, because I feel like we have enough electricity. We don't need to worry about boosting it up. Also going to bring up the policing budget, because we have had a few policing issues, and the parks budget too, just because I want that increased land value and happiness. One thing I didn't do is check how many buses I've got running on this. 3. That's not too bad, but I think I can reduce it because we don't have that many people going from one to the other. So let's reduce the number of vehicles down to 1. It's a very, very short route, so they'll just be able to swing round and pick them all up in one go, because it's only 15 people that use this bus. While we're here, let's have a look at how this bus line is doing. I still haven't given it a name, but we haven't got a kind of county name yet. So has 124 people using the bus, saves 12% of journeys. Ideally, I want that number to be like at least over 50% to get cars off the road. So we might not even need as many buses as we have at the moment, but there is a huge build-up of people at particular stops. So I think I'll leave the buses as it is at the moment. Population is almost back up to where it was before. We are a couple of residents away from that level, so that's really good. Finally got to that milestone and then dipped right underneath again, but it will be worth it in the long run. So I'm going to do these roads the same that I did with the other district and just upgrade them to a nicer road. I don't think I'm going to use cycling paths in this one. That might stop them from being able to cycle on the roads, but I am going to use trees because that helps with reducing noise and just generally makes it look nice. Okay, that's got rid of quite a lot of people again, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. It kind of has to happen at some point. So let me just build these bridges back in while I'm here so that pedestrians can continue crossing them. Oh, that's handy. Forestry area has just gone to level 2, so I'll go through and add some of these in a moment. Okay, let's add in some forestry things before I lose all my money from those houses disappearing. So we have the workers' barracks now. They kind of just increase the efficiency. So we haven't got masses of space, so I'm more inclined to add things like the processing buildings at the moment. This is a fairly big one, the biomass pellet plant. I think, yeah, that fits perfectly in that area. So costs a lot of money, but I might add that in there just because this requires a lot of workers, and workers is the thing that I was always struggling to get in industry areas before. I could produce the amount of resources, but I couldn't get the amount of workers in because I didn't have enough space. Hopefully that should take a big chunk out of the amount of people we need to level up to the next level. They're all happy for now, so I'm just going to leave them as they are. Eventually this area up here is going to be for the unique factories. So far I've only used the bakery and the lemonade factory in all of my games. I haven't used any of the ones that need plastic or petroleum yet, so I guess we will learn how to do that together. But I'll leave this as it is for now. It's bringing in a decent amount of money, and I've turned the pollution off, so I'll just leave that as it is. I think it's time to decorate the inside of this district. I'm going to leave areas empty, like this bit over here, because I'm going to be putting the sports hall and gym in, but the rest of it I can go ahead and decorate, and it will look a little bit more full than just a big empty space with nothing in it. So I will be back in a moment. Okay, that's about all that I have in me for the detailing today. It wasn't very well thought out at all, I don't think, really. I got to those little pockets and didn't really know what to do, so I just started to put a bunch of flowers in them, which, you know, it's something that you might find in a foresty kind of area like this, with these kind of little bits of benches with some flowers around, particularly if they're like memorial benches. But this bit in the middle here kind of feels like a campground with all of the little kiosks, and over here is a little football pitch with some benches and a few more food kiosks, and over here I've got a little fountain and another kiosk with some bins, and down here I just added some bike racks and some little tables outside the back of the library and next to the running track. Even though they're not really going to be used, I feel like they would be something you'd find near a school, so I'm just going to move some of these because they look very close together. But yeah, it's not my best work. Not my best work, but it'll do for now. I'll probably go back and edit it, but it looks much better than being empty, and it makes this high school feel like it's in the middle of its own space without just being able to see through to the houses around it. Eventually, like I said, this will have one of the healthcare buildings here, and this area will be fleshed out a little bit more. But yeah, for now, I'm happy with where it's at, and I'm happy that it's not just looking empty now. Built up a decent amount of funds while that was happening. My population is now once again back up to its pre-culling level. Let's see how this is doing. I probably need to add some more bits into that. I'm going to add in some of these sapling fields along the edge here. We're not going to go out in that direction, so I don't need to worry about leaving these intersections clear. It's unlikely we'll be going through the mountain, at least not here. We'll probably go through this part here possibly if we're going to go over this way. But for now, hopefully that should help out a little bit. I'm just going to amend the terrain underneath this because I didn't flatten this bit out Can I do that now that it's got stuff on it? Yeah, I can. Oh, there we go. That's better. Hopefully that's given a few more jobs and some more resources available, and we'll just let that run in the background, keeping an eye on it every now and then, but I'm not putting too much thought and energy into industry areas. I think it might be time to widen out this road before it gets too busy and turn this into a wider 4-lane road down the middle here, mainly so that I can get trams in. We might need to move these roads back. Right, I'm going to stick it on pause for a minute, and I'm going to move these roads back ever so slightly. That looks a bit better. Yeah, that car park isn't clipping onto the grass, so I think that is what we're going to have to deal with for the moment. But I successfully managed to move these parks back without removing them. And let me just fix the spacing of these. And yeah, this is all looking much better with a 4-lane road. Eventually I do want to put trams down, and I want to have a tram loop over here. This town square is looking very sad at the moment. We haven't got the leisure commercial specialisation yet. That will come at the next milestone. So I don't really have much to do with this yet, but it will be more fleshed out, and there will be a unique building at the end. Okay, so I'm just having a look at the milestones, and we'll have to reach a population of 9,500 before we can unlock trains. I think we're going to struggle to get to big town at this rate, so let's focus on trying to get up to big town status, and I am going to see if I can fit any more houses somewhere, which may require buying this tile over here, which I'm going to do, and then expanding out sideways. Right, that's this whole area filled in. I've left a few gaps where I want to put roads eventually, so I'm going to have one going across the river here, and then one going out to the north of this section here. Quite a curved road here, so I reckon the houses are going to be a little bit odd, but this park in the centre here from the hotels and retreats pack I thought fit in quite nicely in this space, and hopefully with the 3 parks here should boost the land value quite a bit. On the inside of this spiral I couldn't really put much because the curve was so tight, but I might see if I can add some of the very small parks from the hotels pack just to fill out that area a little bit. Hopefully these houses will help us with the dwindling population that we've had recently and give it a little bit of a boost. I do want this end of the town to feel a little bit more high end. I did try putting like a marina or a fishing island in on the gap at the bottom of this road, but it sat too high up off the water and it just looked a little bit odd, so I decided not to go with that, but I'll definitely be doing that somewhere else. The quay along the edge here also really helps to flatten out the land so the houses don't look so odd, so I'll just let them zone in. I might possibly see if I can connect this pathway up to here. I don't know if this is one that you can connect. I've never used this one before. Let's have a look. It doesn't look like there are any snappable points on this, which is a shame because we could have had the bridge going out the back as well, but maybe I'll just put one in anyway just to make it look like it goes out both ways. Okay, so that's that end of the district kind of doing its own thing. Now that we've opened up this side of the map as well, I do want to think about what I want to do over here. There's a really good train connection here which I could use for a big kind of city station, or I could use it to get people quickly over to here. I am conscious of the fact that it's already branching off down here and I don't want to add too many junctions into one space, but I think that should be alright. I'm either really good with trains or really bad with trains, so I guess we'll see what way this Let's Play goes. But this looks like a nice flat space to maybe put some high-rise in the foothills once we unlock that at the next milestone. For this district, I want to pick a signature tree. For this district, we picked these pink trees, which are present in the back gardens of some of these houses. So let's have a look at the trees that are in the mid-century modern houses. So obviously we've got the palm trees, which don't really go with this district style, but you know, it's the style of the houses. Unless I have the bob tool, which I don't have, I'm not going to be able to change it. But there is this tree here, which is in a couple of them. It's in this one over here as well. So maybe I'll try and figure out what that tree is and use that as the signature tree for this district. I reckon it's one of these. So let's pepper in some of these purple trees into the huge park bit we did earlier and give it a bit of diversity. Okay, that's added a little pop of purple into these parks. One thing I am quite frustrated with this mid-century modern pack is how much space the lots take up, but they don't actually seem to be using the back half of it in most cases. So this house only is here, but for some reason isn't actually using those 2 blocks at the back. So unfortunately, a lot of these spaces end up being taken up by nothing. I can't put any trees there or any other assets there without turning prop anarchy on, and I know what I'm like. If I turn prop anarchy on, I'll forget to turn it off, and then I'll have trees in the pool part 2. So this one as well, this is a tiny little house, but for some reason isn't actually, all of these houses aren't actually doing anything in the backyards. I guess it must just be a quirk of this pack that it's not really as optimized as it could be. I haven't got around to doing these 2 little bean-shaped parks yet either, so once I do those, this district should look a little bit better. Let's check the industry area and see how that's doing. Got a little bit of profit, not masses, but we need workers. Okay, let's put in something that is gonna give them workers. Maybe let's smooth out this bit around the back and add the barracks in. I guess it will improve the efficiency of the workers and give a couple more jobs, even if it's not too many. So let's add the barracks in there and smooth out this terrain on the back a little bit. Yeah, it's the staff. This is the issue I was having before with the not being able to keep up with the staff that I needed. I had more than enough resources, but I just couldn't get the staff in. But hopefully when people start working there, that number will go up, and it might not quite reach it. We might have to add in one more thing, but that's not the end of the world. So I've just added in a little allotment and a little pond on this side and an outdoor gym, or at least what looks like an outdoor gym. So I'm just going to add some trees around it so it's not looking so empty and barren. And I'll pop in a few pink ones as well to keep with this district theme. I will get around to detailing this area a little bit later because now they are having electricity problems. Oh yeah, I reckon all of those extra houses has just tipped the electricity into the red almost. So we have a geothermal power plant now, but that is very, very expensive. The advanced coal power plant is quite pricey as well, but it puts out quite a lot of power. So I might add one in over here just to boost that up quite a bit. So that should go all the way up into the green. As usual, it will dip back down again. I'm sure that we're going to have more electricity problems soon, but for now it should be alright. I think that is a good place to end for today. This district is now looking a lot more fleshed out and I'm really liking the way that the education centre is looking, and I'm glad that I amended this elementary school area too. I will continue to grow the Blackwell forestry as we go. I'm not going to spend too much time focusing on it. We do have to focus on getting to milestones and unlocking new features, and our population isn't doing too good at the moment. So we've got a few areas that are still a little bit empty and I'll be doing something with them in the coming episodes. I want to add in a library over here, one of the ones that I downloaded from the workshop, and I want to get trams in too. And I'm hoping that by the end of the next episode we will have got to big town status and we'll be able to start working with high rise and also campus areas. That is something I haven't done before. It's going to be one big learning experience. And of course we'll be able to put in a metro system and flesh out the public transport a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. I really appreciate all of the likes and comments. Some of you have been super helpful giving me tips on how to do the industry properly and giving name suggestions. We do still have one district that hasn't got a name suggestion yet, so keep the suggestions coming and I'll pick my favourite one for the next episode to rename this mid-century modern high-end area. I'll probably be taking a little bit of a short break over the next few weeks because I am actually getting married next week. It's something that I haven't really talked about on the internet very much and it's come around very, very quickly, but it's a DIY wedding, so a lot of time and effort is going into planning and producing the day. So I might not be around for a while, but I'll be back after I've had a little break. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.